division sucks.
This is the best division in football, Tori.
Take that step back. We are seeing the true quarterback that he really is, which he is not a very good quarterback.
Welcome to the Man Now, where we taking over. It's time to give you them facts. Won't miss a game or two, cause we here for you and we reporting all of them stats. We coming to you live to keep you updated. Broadcast across the country, we the fan favorites. Break the volume to the max and don't nobody touch it. We crossing topics off the list, addressing every subject. So if you ain't got a clue, then you can tune in and give it 24 hours and we back again. Breaking news, new scoops, we the top dogs. From the fields to the courts, we report it all. Buzzer beaters through your speakers, we the ones to call. Trust us for the news if it's got a ball. Giving you the top stories cause we love the turf. Tell a friend to tune in and where you heard it first. Yeah, you're listening to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them stats. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them facts. Yeah, you listen to the Man Now. We taking over, it's time to give you them facts. Turn the speakers up a little loud. Miss a game or two cause we reporting all of them stats. Because you listen to the Man Now.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckhoster here with the Man Hour. Head over to manhourradio.com and check out the new blog section, of course, the merchandise section as well. We do have new merch dropping here very, very soon. It's been a long time coming, but we have finally tuned it just right and it's coming very fast and very, very soon here. We do have an action-packed show tonight. We're going to cover a lot of NFL tops here, but I got to kick it to Combs first because Combs, something very, very dear and near to your heart happened over the week here. Several 13 members of the service died, and you were an active Marine. So I want to give you the floor here for a couple minutes. Just speak on your just speak from the heart here, man. I'll give you a solo shot here.
Yeah, so when stuff like this happens, it's always hard to talk about. We lost 13 brothers and sisters over the weekend. It's never easy. We've made, when we get in the military, when we sign that contract, we know what we're getting ourselves into, and we train to do it. And it's hard to do it without getting emotional, so I apologize.
Don't ever apologize for anything like that, Combs. My dad is very upset, and like he was in the Army, he wasn't even a part of the Marines, so I definitely understand.
What makes me mad the most is that our leadership is broken, and we've allowed it to get this way. We've allowed our leadership to divide. We've allowed our leadership to conquer, and we actually voted the leadership in. And say what you want about politics. Say what you want about where you want to go with things, but I mean the way this was handled was incorrect, and that's why I think that this hits home a little more, is because these 13 people that lost their lives, they had no backup because everybody's being evacuated. They had no support. The things that are being done by the people in power right now, it's just hard to watch. It's sickening. I see all sorts of stuff. I posted one on my Facebook earlier today, a cartoon of this girl sitting at her dad's gravesite, and it's a military gravesite, and she says, "Dad, we need to talk about Afghanistan." And if that doesn't hit you in the heartstrings, if that doesn't tell you all you need to know about what's going on in the world, then I don't know what to tell you. Because what happened over the weekend, what is going to continue to happen in Afghanistan, in Kabul, is senseless, and it could have been avoided. And my daughter now is in the Army, and she's set to be deployed over the next 6 months, and now that hits home even more, because now I'm scared for her, and it's just bad, because I don't think that there's any backup at this point. I don't think that our government has our military's best interest. I don't think they have our people's best interest. I don't know. I don't know what to say without getting too political. And I know, we try to stay away from that stuff, but it's just not good. It's just not.
Yeah, Tori, you were an active service member as well. Do you have any thoughts on this as well?
It's we live by the philosophy when you sign up of you write a blank check up to the value of your life, and it is we follow our orders, we do what we're told, and that's what we do. At the end of the day, we can't control. The big thing here is I don't care about anything else. There's 13 families that don't have their daughter, their son, their husband, their wife, somebody coming home tonight. That is the biggest thing. It's going to happen. Death happens. Like I get that part of it, but I mean we've been doing this for over 20 years. It's sad, but when we sign up, this is what we know what we're going to do. So it's if it's your time, it's your time. I just don't. I don't know. It's very sad. It's very. I agree. It's trying to do the right thing, except it's not going to happen. I mean, we pulled out and look how quickly it fell apart. That means that we didn't do it. It was the same thing the Soviets did back in like the 60s and the 70s when they were there for 20 some years and tried to fight it, and we had the exact same result as the Russians did when they were over there. So it's sad because I don't think that they needed to lose their life. They lost their life trying to save others' lives, and that's why they will always be heroes to me.
Yeah, you guys are all exactly right on that. I mean, like, I was never active service, like, obviously, but my family members were, and it helps, and it hits home for me as well, but clearly not as much as like you guys could for being active. But thank you for everybody that was, or that is and was serving here, and those 13 Marines that lost their lives. And of course the Navy man as well. So guys, let's go ahead and give them 13 seconds of silence here to remember each and every person here before we get into today's show. Alrighty, guys, let's get into some sports talk here. And it is hard to transition from that, but some big news happened over the weekend, and Gardner Minshew has officially been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 6th round or a conditional 5th round pick if he plays 50% over the games this season. So, Mr. Brandon Combs, I'm going to kick it to you first because, we've been doing the Man Hour the longest here, you and me. We're going on about a year now, maybe a year and a half. And I'm not a big fan of Minshew mania and all that overhyped crap. But what does this mean for the Philadelphia Eagles? Does this mean that they have no faith in Jalen Hurts for bringing in Gardner Minshew?
No, look. I think that Gardner Minshew is a great pickup for the Philadelphia Eagles. And say what you want about Gardner Minshew. From that 2019 draft class, he is the highest rated passer of that draft class. And that includes Kyler Murray. So you can say what you want about Gardner Minshew, but Gardner Minshew being your backup is not a bad thing. If injury happens, if for whatever reason, your starting quarterback is not playing up to par, then I don't know what to tell you. Like, he is Gardner Minshew. I'm telling you, I know my boy Soup Boss, if he's listening right now, my boy Soup Boss absolutely loves Gardner Minshew. And he talks about him all the time, drafted him in every single one of his drafts last year. 1st round, just to try to get him on the show. He drafted him in the 1st round of every draft last year. He loves himself some Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew is a very good backup. It was a great trade. All you gave up was a 6th round draft pick to get him. It was a good trade. And you know what? It was either that or they were going to end up bringing back, Nick, Big Dick Nick
Big Nick did win a Super Bowl there in Philly, so Philly fans would have been ecstatic to have him back. But Tori, I feel like Jalen Hurts kind of time he's on borrowed time here right now in Philly. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm just if I'm a Philly quarterback, I'm not. If I'm any of the Philly quarterbacks, I'm not secure in my position. Two, what the hell is the Philadelphia leadership doing? They clearly have no clear-cut direction. They are throwing darts at the dartboard right now. I really do. I believe in the power of the Minshew stash. So I really do like Gardner Minshew. Whether or not he's a top caliber quarterback in this league is debatable. I mean, he had his little run at his rookie year there, and he kind of fell back to earth last year. But this says more to me about the front office of the Philadelphia Eagles than it does about that quarterback room, because literally, if you're one of those quarterbacks, nobody knows. Like, they said, hey, Jalen, you're our guy. You're going to be our quarterback. Oh, by the way, we just traded for Gardner.
Well, not only that, but a lot of people forget that they have Joe Flacco.
Yes, they also have Joe Flacco.
It's not even like Gardner might be the third string.
This is also like a 38-year-old Joe Flacco, too, and he did not look very good in the preseason at all.
Yeah, well.
But still, at that point, you've now just brought somebody else into that quarterback room that is now a threat to your starting position because they don't have confidence in who they have currently. Yeah. That's what that says. It is not a vote of confidence. They could come out tomorrow and say, you know what, Jalen's our starter. We just wanted the backup, and we wanted a good, solid backup and a quality backup. Nobody's going to believe that inside that locker room at all. They can push it and spin it whatever way they want. It comes down to that the Philadelphia Eagles are now laying out their hand that they have no clue what the hell they're doing. And they've been headed that way since they won the Super Bowl.
Well, and if they wanted a good, solid quarterback or as a backup, Carson Wentz was already in their possession. And, and they didn't get a whole lot for Carson Wentz in return. Let's just be flat out honest. So would you rather have Gardner Minshew or Carson Wentz?
Give me Gardner Minshew.
Really?
Because he's probably going to get 16 games out of him. You're not going to get that out of Carson Wentz.
Very, very, very true.
And and a fraction of the cost.
Here's a thought. Now, I know we mentioned Nick Foles. How about Nick Foles in the Indianapolis Colts? I mean, Frank Reich and Nick Foles. I mean, they won the Super Bowl together. Frank Reich knows Nick Foles. Nick Foles knows Frank Reich. And if your guy goes down, if Carson Wentz goes down, which he's prone to do, as we know, why not Nick Foles?
We've covered that a couple of weeks ago when Carson Wentz first got diagnosed with his foot injury, and it's like he's anywhere from 5 to 12 weeks, and we were like, okay, if he's more than 12 weeks, why wouldn't you? For that exact reason, because Nick Foles did have such great success with Frank Reich in Philadelphia, and it makes too much sense. But again, you come back to, what does that say about our starter? This guy's already taken Carson Wentz's job once. Not because, and granted, Carson was having an MVP caliber season that year, but going into the next year, it was, do we really want Carson as a starter? The guy's already got shaky confidence the way it is because of the injury history. Yeah. You bring Nick Foles back into that again to say, well, we're just doing this just in case because you guys both worked really well in this system. You're gonna destroy his confidence as well too, and I just think it'd be bad. I think if they do anything, they'll try to pull the trigger if and when Carson Wentz gets hurt and goes down for multiple weeks again.
Well, and then on the flip side of that, we've seen Nick Foles have success in Philly, but nowhere else. Nowhere else has he had success. I mean, we've seen him in Arizona, in Jacksonville. Granted, Jacksonville was for that one game, and then he blew his shoulder out, and then Minshew took over. The whole Minshew mania thing happened. He had mediocre success in Chicago, even if you want to call it that. Combs, he won 3 games and then lost 2 or 3 in a row, right? Or something to that effect. So
and he had stops. He had stops in Kansas City and with the Rams as well.
Yeah, so the only place where he has had success is Philly, and like, I don't know if it's the coaching staff or if it's the actual town. Like, just because some people feel more comfortable in said stadium, right? So Combs, do you think Nick Foles is a Frank Wright system quarterback, or does he just like the town of Philly?
No, I think that he would fit right back into that system. And I mean, if you're bringing him in as a backup, we know he is one of those guys who can be a backup, but maybe he's just better off as a backup and not a starter. So as long as he's not coming in to be your starter, I think you'll be just fine with Nick Foles. And Carson Wentz is, again, he's Carson Wentz. I hope Carson Wentz stays healthy, because I'd like to see what the Indianapolis Colts can do with a healthy Carson Wentz. I think that they make that division a lot better if Carson Wentz is healthy all season long.
So, Tori, let me ask you this cool question. Let's say, in theory, the planets align and Nick Foles end up in Indy. What backup quarterback do you cut? Do you cut Jacob Easton, or you can't cut Sam Ehlinger?
I would probably end up cutting Ehlinger, because there's probably a better chance to stash him on the practice squad. You play roulette, though, at that point.
Yeah.
Such as, like, as Packer fans will say, as the Packers did with Taysom Hill. Cut him figuring they could stash him on the practice squad, and they had him all set up, and then the Saints came in and said, we're going to put him on our roster.
Yeah, so there you guys go. So Nick Foles is going to Indianapolis per Brand and comes there. But before we get into our first break here, guys, let's go ahead and address some of the questions that come across the board here. I believe it was Drew said, Tori, what branch of the military were you in?
The best branch, the oldest branch of the entire United States military, and that would be the Army.
Yeah, so there you go. Tori was a Army crown eater, as they call him.
Army stands for ain't ready to be Marine yet.
There you go. And then Joey says that he had the worst broadcast ever on Friday. So, Joey, during Shop Talk, man, feel free to call in and we can talk about that if you want. And then Easton and Drew says Easton is not a bad backup. I think Jacob Easton is going to have a very successful NFL career myself, but you never know. He could just get screwed in the end. But in the end, guys, it is time for break. So we'll sit back and take a short little break. And after the break, we got some more NFL talk heading up. J.K. Dobbins, we're going to talk Deshaun Watson as well. And, of course, T.Y. Hilton. So all that and much more here, guys. Coming up the Man Hour. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes on with Tori Anderson and, of course, Brandon BC Combs. You can follow us all on Twitter at manhour_Buck, manhour_Tori, and, of course, manhour_Combs, all on the old Twitter machine. So big news here happening at the Man Hour, guys. We're giving away a free trip to Vegas. How do you get entered? All you got to do is head over to youtube.com/manhour. Hit that join button. If you are a $5.99 member or higher, you automatically get entered into the Vegas drawing Super Bowl Sunday. We are giving away flight and some hotel stay there, as we cannot guarantee you access into the draft because it's basically first come, first serve. And all you do to get more entries, you become the high point getter of the week here on YouTube. Share the page and, of course, like and comment and all that stuff, and you get additional entries into that drawing. So let's go ahead and bring everybody back on to the screen here, guys. Welcome back to the show. Obviously, we talked a little bit of Garner Minshew and the trade, but now we are trying to talk the injury bug, the big injury bug that is happening in the NFL right now. And J.K. Dobbins is the next person to drop with an apparent torn ACL. He will go underneath a further MRI later in the week here, but it is all indications are saying that he is out for the season. The Baltimore Ravens also have 4 receivers that are hurt that are scheduled to miss time during the season as well. So Tori Anderson, does this mean that the Ravens season is over before it has even started?
No, because their best running back is still on the field, named Lamar Jackson. So I don't know. They're still going to be fine. They have actually a pretty good team. So you have Justice Hill, you have who's actually hurt, and then you have Gus Edwards that's going to be leading the way. Gus Edwards is a pretty good running back, and Gus Edwards was starting over J.K. Dobbins for most of last year as well. And actually, I shouldn't say that. Well, he was ahead of him, and it was him and Mark Ingram splitting the carries till Dobbins really started coming on after both the midway point in the season. So they've got a running back that's established. That's a good running back. I just think it's going to be more of a one-man show, or they may wait till final cuts, see if a good or a decent running back gets surprise cut by somebody and pick them up as well to kind of be behind Gus Edwards.
So let's look at some of the big names that are out there right now. Tori, you got Le'Veon Bell is free. Leonard Fournette, or not? Is Leonard Fournette still free? I can't remember.
No. Fournette got re-signed.
Yeah. So, but there are some other big names out there. Do you go with a old veteran to maybe sign and kind of get that team into shape, maybe?
I don't think so, because your running backs are almost a dime a dozen now.
Facts.
Your ones like your Adrian Petersons that are 37 years old and bounced around the league for the last 3 years, still putting up 750 to 800 yards at that age with a lot of tread on that tires, are far and few between. You know, Le'Veon, people are going to stay away from because Le'Veon's a cancer. Like, you went to Kansas City, a really good organization, and complained. You were in Pittsburgh, which is another good organization, and complained. People are staying away from him. I don't think anybody signs Le'Veon just because they look at him as a cancer. Some team will have to be extremely desperate to sign Le'Veon Bell. If I was a betting man, I'd say Le'Veon Bell is done in the NFL. However, I think they'll wait. They'll wait and see who comes across that waiver wire. And once final cuts are done, I don't know, when did they got to have them done by? I think they got to have them done by Saturday next week. I think that's still the same. Yeah. They got to be done by Saturday next week.
Yeah. So Combs, we are seeing the injury bug hit the Baltimore Ravens pretty hard here. You said obviously, or Tori has obviously said that basically the best player on the team is still on there, so there's going to be no worries for them at all. Do the Ravens start looking to add some players to this injury flag team right now?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're like Tori said. I mean, they're going to be waiting to see who hits the waiver wire. There's going to be plenty of players that hit the waiver wire, and I think that they're gonna be able to find some good steals. I mean, there were players that we watched this last weekend of NFL preseason, and there are plenty of players that aren't going to make the team. I mean, you look at the Bears tight end last week yesterday who had 3 touchdowns and 100-something yards receiving. It was a showcase game for him. So those are guys that are showcasing themselves and are going to get a shot once they hit the waiver wire. You're going to find running backs like that, and the Bears are going to have a couple of running backs that are going to hit the waiver wire. I know the Packers had a decent running back. I can't remember his name now.
Kylan Hill.
Game yesterday. Kylan Hill had a good game yesterday. I think he might hit the waiver wire. So there are quite a few that you can find out there, just to give you some depth. And I think that's the way that they're going to go with it. I agree with him when he says the best player on the Ravens is still healthy and is still playing. I'm upset about the J.K. Dobbins thing just because I took him in my dynasty league, and we drafted way too early, and now I'm screwed. But other than that, no, I think the Ravens will be just fine.
So Tori, I mean, let me ask you this, because J.K. Dobbins was projected to go about 4th or 5th round in many leagues. What kind of fantasy implications does this have with the fantasy leagues going out there? Should you still pick up a player like J.K. Dobbins and hopefully he comes back like week 12 for a playoff push?
It's an ACL. That's 6 months minimum that he's gone. He's not coming back this year. But the thing is the ADP probably doesn't change much because all you're doing now is swapping out names. And you're putting Gus Edwards in there instead. It's like I said, Gus Edwards is a good NFL running back. Just because he doesn't have the name of J.K. Dobbins doesn't mean he's not good. He is a good running back. A name I would keep an eye on is a running back in Buffalo that could get cut just because he might cost too much is Matt Breida. And Matt Breida might get cut from Buffalo and end up in Baltimore. And I'd be like, that's a great pickup. Matt Breida is a quality running back, but right now he's number 3 on their depth chart. He's not, you got Zach Moss and Singletary ahead of him. So he's probably on his way out the door. There again, got showcased during a little bit in the preseason, and we'll see what happens. I bet Breida, if anything, Breida gets cut. I think Breida ends up in Baltimore if another team in front of them doesn't grab him.
Yeah, so you were saying pick up Gus Edwards from the Ravens in place of J.K. Dobbins if you're planning to draft J.K.?
100%. You don't change your draft position much. He's the same complete back that J.K. Dobbins is.
All righty, so let's move on here to the next topic here, and that is a little Deshaun Watson talk, guys. I mean, the trade rumors are starting to stir back up here with Deshaun, and he does have a no trade clause built into his contract, and he flat out said that I do not want to go to Philly. I'm not going to waive my no trade clause to go to Philadelphia. So Combs, I'm going to kick it to you first here. If things are really truly that bad in Houston, why not go to Philly and at least get out of Houston?
I mean, well, for one, there's a log jam of quarterbacks in Philly now.
2.
So
and one's trash, worse than Lamar.
Okay, but you've got a log jam there. For 2, are you really going to put yourself in a position where it's you or Jalen back and forth, and like it just doesn't make sense? There's a couple teams that do make sense, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Do they go ahead and trade him to Miami? Miami makes a lot of sense right now. Another team that makes a lot of sense right now is the Indianapolis Colts. I've mentioned them already with Nick Foles. Makes a lot of sense for him to go to Indianapolis still. I said this from the start. Indianapolis should have went hard after Deshaun Watson, because that guy in Indianapolis, I think, makes them a Super Bowl contender. So there are a couple teams that make a perfect. I just don't think Philly is the right thing. So, if you're right though, if you want out and it's that bad in Houston, why are you not waiving your no trade clause to go anywhere? I mean,
exactly.
At this point, you could trade me to the University of Alabama and I'd go. If things are that bad, I'll regress a little bit and go play some college ball.
So, Tori, let me kick it to you next here. Combs mentioned up some names that he doesn't want to go to Philly because it doesn't want to be a him versus Hurts thing. I feel it would be a trade for Deshaun Watson, for Jalen Hurts, plus 3 or 4 first-round picks that they're searching for. What kind of value does Deshaun Watson bring to the trade table right now going into week number 1?
It's the Houston Texans. Come on now. It'd be Jalen Hurts for Deshaun Watson straight up.
Yeah, I mean,
Draft picks
the-
involved.
do I need to break out the Bill O'Brien Magic 8 Ball again, shake it up? And that's the thing, but Bill O'Brien's not there. And right now, the latest rumors are that they want 3 firsts and 2 seconds for Deshaun.
Yeah.
And I'm going to reference back now to what I said earlier when we talked about Gardner being there. Something's up with that front office, and everybody knows it. That's why Deshaun's saying, I ain't going to Philly because something is up. It's something is stirring. It's not a good situation there. At least in Houston, he has receivers. He has proven receivers, whereas in Philly, he doesn't. He has a better offensive line in Houston than he does in Philly. Philly is in full-on rebuild mode and does not know which direction they're going. They're going to say, we're a competitive team, but everybody looks at that roster and said, where?
Right.
You know, there's a team that is a dark horse. Right now, they're saying Miami's the front runner in all of this. I have a dark horse team, and I hate to say it. I really hate to say it. It'd be the Minnesota Vikings. You have Kirk Cousins in the last year of his deal. You could flip him over to Houston for probably, and then give him maybe like two more firsts and Kirk Cousins to flip him to Minnesota. And Minnesota solves their quarterback problem because Kirk Cousins is talking to like he doesn't want to resign after this year with Minnesota. And so Houston's going into full rebuild mode. You get a quarterback, 1 year you pay him, he's off your books. The trade makes too much sense for it to happen though.
So Combs, Corey just dropped a bombshell on it, like on us here. Let's say that Deshaun Watson goes to Minnesota. Is Minnesota Super Bowl caliber team with Deshaun Watson at the helm this year?
Anybody who picks up that is already a contender, that picks up Deshaun Watson is instantly a Super Bowl contender. Deshaun Watson is that good. Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He makes any team that is already a contender a Super Bowl contender. He would go, if he went to the Jets, he would make them a playoff contender. That's just how good this guy is. So, yeah, I don't see any. If you go to Minnesota, I mean, dude, there's going to be some Viking fans that are going to be very, very happy to go away from Kirk Cousins and get Deshaun Watson. I mean, wow, that would be something. And you know what? I know 2 guys who would hate to see that happen. And they're sitting right here on this show right now. It'd be me and Tori because we'd have to deal with this guy twice a year. That would, God,
the NFC North would be stacked.
It would be stacked.
Detroit, outside of Detroit,
down too.
It would be.
Minnesota all of a sudden becomes a favorite to win the division, and right now I think that's Green Bay's division to lose.
It would be like the early '90s when you had Favre on top of his game, Scott Mitchell on top of his, Eric Kramer and Warren Moon all in the division. I think all 3 quarterbacks.
Kramer? Like, did you just throw Eric Kramer?
Kramer had a phenomenal
Eric Kramer
year.
Was horrendous. Eric Kramer was horrible
in Chicago, but not in Detroit. Scott Mitchell was terrible in Detroit. And Scott Mitchell was amazing in Detroit, but terrible everywhere else. Eric Kramer had one good year with the Bears because it was Kramer, Scott Mitchell, Favre, and Warren. I believe it was Warren Moon. It was Warren Moon and Randall Cunningham that was quarterbacking the Minnesota Vikings that year.
So, guys, I believe you are skimming over the comment that Brandon Combs made here. He says that Deshaun Watson makes any team a basically a playoff team or a Super Bowl contending team, depending on where he goes. If he's really that good, why are the Houston Texans not a playoff bound team, Mr. Brandon Combs?
I said a contending team is a Super Bowl team.
And then you also said that he would make the Jets a playoff team. The Jets are nowhere.
The Jets are a better organization than the Houston Texans are. The
So
Jets are a better coach team than the Houston Texans are. The Houston Texans are trash. The Houston Texans are garbage from the top to the bottom, with the exception of Deshaun Watson. That's the only good thing about the Houston Texans.
So, Tori, do you agree with Mr. Brandon Combs' statement there that Deshaun Watson makes any team a playoff team?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is Houston was building the right way until Bill O'Brien apparently just decided to go off the rails and sell phenomenal players for pennies on the dollar. And at that point, for whatever reason, they basically were like, push the reset button. I don't blame Deshaun for wanting out of that situation. Be like, we were building something really great. We had two really good receivers. One was the top receiver in the league. We had a defense that was right there that just needed a couple of pieces. And you guys just, let's hit the button and blow it all up. That's what happened. So that's not his fault. It is really not his fault. But yes, a contender becomes an automatic Super Bowl. Him in Minnesota would absolutely terrify me because with the receivers, he'd have Thielen, he would have Justin Jefferson. He has a defense it's not great, but it's far from terrible as well. And they have a running back that can put up 15 to 1,600 yards and 10 plus touchdowns.
That's a very interesting statement here. Drew brings up a comment here over on the youtube.com/manhour page here. It says, Tori, I'm surprised nobody has mentioned whether or not Deshaun would be able to leave Houston while there's a criminal investigation going on. That's a good point. I don't know if he's able to leave the state or the city or like or not. Do you guys know that?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of criminal, but I don't think that there's anything that would stop him from leaving.
Yeah, I feel like if he wouldn't be able to leave the city, he wouldn't be able to play football this year because they're leaving the city 9 times this year to go play games. So
yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't see what the difference between that and that would be.
Yeah, because it's not like he's leaving the country. There's no extradition or anything like that. He would basically just have to sign something. Yes, I will show up for court on XYZ day, and they'd be like, okay.
Well, and then court's not even until like February or March of like next year. The last I knew. So, But speaking of court cases, I'm just kidding. T.Y. Hilton's a very, very clean individual. But T.Y. Hilton will miss, quote, several weeks with a neck and back issue. I mean, like I said, this is a injury-plagued preseason so far, which is kind of surprising to me. But Tori Anderson, can the Colts make the playoffs if T.Y. Hilton does not play the full season?
I'm going to say yes, that they still can. Because that defense is still amazing. They have a defense that can sustain a little bit of instability in the offense until they kind of figure it out and they work through things, or until T.Y. comes back. They still have a good enough defense to work through any of that. Yes, I think absolutely 110% based off of how that defense can play. It is an elite defense. It's a top 5 defense. And yeah, they can hold off and they can ride whatever ups and downs until the offense gets going and T.Y. gets back.
So, Mr. Brandon B.E.C. Combs, you are, I'm not for sure where you're at, like on the Colts. You've been real up and down on them, but let's say T.Y. Hilton misses the full season. Can they make the playoffs?
So I have them at 11-6 this year. So I think if you lose T.Y. Hilton, I think that team's deep enough. I really do. I think there's enough depth on this Indianapolis Colts that they can sustain a 6 weeks without him. But it'll be tough. I mean, it'll be a different dynamic to that offense. But I really do. I like their depth. I like what they have at wide receiver in Indianapolis. I mean, you might be missing T.Y. Hilton, but you still got Michael Pittman, you still got Pascal, and they've got this other kid there. God, what was his name?
Campbell, Paris Campbell.
Paris, yeah,
Paris Campbell.
Yeah, he's another. Like I really like that kid, and not to mention, I mean, you pretty much got a extra wide receiver in Naheem Hines. So, like, I don't know. I like him. I think the Colts will be all right without T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, and I think they're actually better without T.Y. Hilton on the field for the full season, just because because their tight end crew that they have there is so good that Carson Wentz will definitely start to utilize them a whole lot more when that deep threat to T.Y. Hilton isn't there. So when T.Y. Hilton does come back, your checkdowns are there all the time. But Tori, I'm going to kick it to you next here. Brandon Combs says he has him going 11-6 this season. let's say hypothetically T.Y. Hilton does not play the full season. What kind of record do you have for the Indianapolis Colts?
Now you're gonna make me try to remember what I had them at in our thing. I do believe I have them right around the same. I either have them at 10-7 or 11-6. It's one of the two. I had them winning the division by like 1 or 2 games over the Tennessee Titans. So I'm pretty sure because I think I had the Titans at 9-8. So I do believe yes, Brandon and I had them the same. I have them at 11-6 and winning that division as well, even without TY. Again, people better watch out for Michael Pittman this year. Michael Pittman is going to be a beast this year. This is going to be coming out, and that's regardless of if TY's in there or not. Paris Campbell's actually had a really good preseason, and Pascal showed up big for stretches last year, but he also disappeared for stretches as well. Mostly when I would pick him up for fantasy and have to try to start him, and then he would disappear, and then I'd cut him and he'd drop like 20 and like. Ugh.
All right. So Combs, you had them at 11-6 minus T.Y. Hilton for the whole year. Are you sticking with 11-6, or are you dropping them down a few games?
No, I'm sticking at 11-6. I really like I said, I like their depth. I think that they'll be just fine.
Alrighty. So you guys are saying basically T.Y. Hilton is not a very big loss for the Indianapolis Colts moving forward, right?
Not at this stage. He's not the same T.Y. Hilton of
exactly
4 or 5 years ago.
Alrighty. So with that being said, guys, we are going to take our next break here on the Man Hour. Coming up after the break, we're going to open up to Shop Talk. If you guys want to talk about anything, let us know here in the comments here, and we will gladly be able to talk about it. So we will be right back, guys, after this short little break. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes along with Tori Anderson and the Mr. Brandon BC Combs. You can always find us on Twitter at manhour_Buck, manhour_Tori, and manhour_Combs. They're on the old Twitter machine. And of course, if you guys have missed any part of the show whatsoever, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Find us on Big X Sports Radio every Monday through Friday at 4 to 6 p.m. And then, of course, Belly Up Sports Now we are part of Belly Up Sports Network. You can hear us there every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. And of course, 313 The Flash, Open Talk, Sports Talk Radio over there as well. So guys, we have had a pretty good show. We've talked a lot of NFL. We've talked a lot of injuries. We talked some Gardner Minshew. Combs, is there anything that you want to talk about?
Let's talk about my boy, famous Jameis.
We're going to talk about that later in the show.
Oh,
we do got some Jameis Winston talk coming up here at the 9:15 hour, guys. So here in about a half hour, if you guys are Saints fans, stay tuned for that. But let's talk some more Gardner Minshew before the questions start rolling in. Tori, you said you love Gardner Minshew. Why do you love him?
I said I love his stash.
Is that all you love about him? So since he has a nice mustache and nice hair, like he's automatically top 15 quarterback in all.
He needs to be in the next Magic Mike movie.
No, I like him. The thing is, I don't think he's a great starting caliber quarterback. He's a lower end starting caliber, but he is one of the best backups in the entire league. The thing is I am not changing much of my game plan if my starter goes down because I have to put Gardner Minshew in. Gardner is a smart quarterback, and he's going to have a 10 to 15 year career, even if it's bouncing around the league is back. He's got a Fitzmagic type career ahead of him.
No.
So Fitzmagic as in like just bouncing around, or like being great for 5 games and sucking for 10?
Probably just bouncing around, making a career out of just being in the league and being that placeholder. Like, the one thing that I really like about Fitzmagic is he's embraced that role of he knows his role in the NFL, but he knows that he gets a paycheck anytime he wants it every single year. So, it's the only time he ever really complained was when the Jets wouldn't pay him, and he was actually playing really well for the Jets. And it's kind of like, well, the Jets probably should play him, but
yeah, I hate the whole mustache mania or Minshew mania or whatever, and like
you just hate it because you can't rock a mustache like he can.
Dude, I can rock a mustache,
not like he can.
No.
Next week I'm going to shave it just for you guys.
You're gonna go full porn stash.
I'll go full porn stash.
Oh my god.
I may not get like laid for like a little while, but I'll go full porn stash. Shave it right there, shave off the side. I mean, easy peasy, son.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Exactly. So Joey says, I thought this was Shop Talk. It is Shop Talk time, Joey. We just have not, I have not transferred all of the overlays over here yet. But Joey says, Buck trying to be cool with the kids always. What is that? What is that supposed to mean? How am I being trying to be cool with the kids? Like, I am the flyest person you've ever met, Joey. Let's just be honest. Like, I don't have to try to be cool.
I'd be ill and B.
Yikes.
What'd you say, Tori?
Yikes.
I'd be ill and B.
L&B. Yeah, so we went to the Mexican restaurant, and Cindy's like, you want some queso? I'm like, no, I want some cheese.
Did she slap the divorce papers on the table right then and there?
She's
and
like,
say, I'm going to the Packer game alone.
she did mention like, hey, I'm looking at a babysitter for the kids. Like, we just may not be able to go. I'm like, well, you better find somebody to take these kids because they're not going with me to the Monday night game. And she's like, well, why don't you just stay home and like watch the kids? I'm like, Monday night game? I don't think so. I'm going. So you can. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. But
did you find a place to stay? I know my buddy was throwing some ideas out to you too. So.
Yeah, we're looking at it right now. I mean, camping. Like I love to camp, so I threw that idea out there. We can take the camper up there and have a good time. If the house is a rock and don't bother knocking right. But yeah, we're looking to stay about an hour away, so I'm sure it'll be good. Joey says, when not the people with the food from down south restaurant.
What the heck?
Joey, I think it's past your bedtime. Don't you got school tomorrow, buddy? You should probably consider.
Did Joey start drinking?
I don't know.
Speak well, better you.
All right.
I've got a question here.
Go ahead.
So I'm doing a fantasy draft as we're on the air, and it is late rounds, and I have to draft a defense. Available defenses are the San Francisco 49ers,
That's good.
the Denver Broncos, the Kansas City Chiefs, the New England Patriots, the Indianapolis Colts, Chicago Bears, and the Minnesota Vikings. Who are you taking out of that bunch?
You got to go Colts.
I
The
would go
Colts
with
is a
Colts.
top.
Yeah.
That's a top 5 defense. You can't really say no.
I think
to
New
that
England's up there
defense.
too because now they got
I
all
would
the
agree.
defensive players back.
I was on like, oh, New England's there. Yeah, you take New England. They said Indianapolis. And I was like, oh, you got to go Indianapolis.
I
All
wouldn't
right, I'll
look
go
at
Indy.
their actually ranking of the defense. I would look to see who they play, and the Colts' schedule is fairly easy. I mean, you play Houston twice, you play the Jaguars twice, you play the Titans twice. I mean,
Yeah.
there's probably 20
I've got
points on
one
your-
spot left, and I need a backup quarterback. Bet you don't
Gardner.
know where I'm going.
Mr. Trubisky.
Justin.
I'm gonna eat me some dubs, baby.
So hang on. Jameis Winston's a top 10 quarterback, but you're taking him as a backup in fantasy, huh?
Because Patrick Mahomes is my starter.
Okay.
So yeah, he's gonna be my backup.
Joey says Chiefs or Colts for the defensive wise.
So just like Jameis will be by the end of the year on the real team, just to back up.
Just to back up. We will be talking about that, guys, coming up here very, very soon here. But there is one question here on the Twitter that came out here. He says, do we have a game tomorrow? No, kickoff isn't for like 12 days. So kickoff
No.
12 days right away. Cowboys, Bucks.
Yeah, September 9th.
What do
I
you?
think.
What? I'm all confused with all of this because I'm like, God, like all the preseason games are done, but final cuts aren't till like next Saturday. Like as a like a guy that's on the bubble, that would suck. Like to have to sweat it out for another week.
Well, you're going to
Like,
be
I mean, I
practicing
guess-
and stuff, yeah.
I know, but like to like know that you're like may not make the team because there's no more live action.
Right.
Now we're just practicing, and my fate lies in the fact that I better light it up on special teams this week, or I'm probably gone.
Well, are they holding any joint practices?
I don't think not in the final week they wouldn't.
No.
There's no game. A lot of
Right.
times you'll see them hold the joint practices if they're playing each other because of like travel schedule.
Right.
You know, it's not like the old days, like where the Chiefs would go up to UW River Falls and the Bears would go to whatever other. I think they would go to like Whitewater, and then you had the Packers there, like where they would have joint practices because they could just bus them across the state.
Right. So I did see one question here. Are you excited that college football is back?
Oh yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I could have got tickets for the Penn State Badger game next weekend, and I didn't because I have to go to Green Bay for Labor Day weekend for my fantasy football, golf voting, and draft.
Ugh,
So
brutal.
why are you guys a big fan of the week 0 thing or just call it week 1?
I don't like it. I did like the fact that Scott Frost lost, although I didn't like it because that means Brett Bielema won. But like I said, though, that was the bowl game for both of those teams because both of those programs are horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know
Illinois has been bad for a long time.
Scott Frost was supposed to be like the savior after leading UCF, and Scott Frost is coming home. Scott Frost is going to lead us back to the promised land, and he's 12-20 in his.
Did you
3
look
seasons
at
there.
the schedule for college football's opening week?
Yeah,
that-
there's some good games.
Thursday night, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games on Thursday night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games on Friday night. And then everybody else plays on Saturday.
Well, and then Jackson State plays Wednesday night because Deion
Yeah.
Sanders needs his own night.
And Notre Dame versus Florida State on Sunday night, and Louisville Ole Miss on Monday night. Those are 2 good games.
Yeah. What
I
game do you
love
guys got
college
circled
football
that you want to watch?
Oh, I'm a Notre Dame guy, so that Notre Dame Sunday night game, I'll definitely be tuned into that.
Yeah. Tori, you're watching your Badgers?
I'm watching my Badgers, and there again, when it comes to college football, I'll watch whoever's playing. I don't care.
Yeah. I'm going to try to
If you still
definitely
got
catch that
those
Bama
tickets
game.
for Penn State, Wisconsin, I'm not going to Green Bay, so I mean, just saying.
Tori's like,
they're probably. Chances are they're probably gone.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're up against our next break here. On the other side of the break, we got Would You Rather coming up here. It is brought to you by Thrive Fantasies. Simply head over to thrivefantasy.com, sign up using promo code MANHOUR, and you can automatically get entered into winning $100,000 over there at thrivefantasy.com. If you pick Week 1 NFL games, if you get a perfect picks there, you can win up to $100,000. That's thrivefantasy.com. Promo code MANHOUR, guys. We'll be right back here after this short little break.
I am not.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeyes on with Brandon Combs and the Tori Anderson tonight. If you guys are wondering what you're seeing there on screen is during the breaks, we have little banters back and forth and talk, and just talk live fantasy football. We poke fun at each other. And if you ever want to see what's going on, you simply have to become a 999 member over here at youtube.com/man, or simply hit that join button, the 999, and you get all access footage to behind the scenes. So you don't have to worry about watching the ads. You can see us during the actual, breaks and talk to us and banter back and forth with us. It's actually a really good time because I think we get closer as human beings when we can just talk normal during break. Tori, what do you think?
I am a robot. I don't compute.
No.
I like it. It's a.
Hey, you could be the president of the United States.
No, he has to stutter first, just like Buck.
So, not to get political, but I know a retired now state senator. He's like, Tori, when are you going to run for office? I said, sir, way too many skeletons in that closet. Not gonna happen. Just not happening. No, I would get dragged through the mud.
Oh, sorry, guys. So it is time for Would You Rather. Would You Rather is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Simply head over to thrivefantasy.com or download the Android or iOS app. Use promo code MANHOUR, and you get free entry into the $100,000 giveaway they're giving away week number 1 of the NFL season. So thrivefantasy.com, promo code MANHOUR will get you entered into that. So the first Would You Rather of the night, guys, we have talked a little bit about Deshaun Watson, and we talked Philadelphia Eagles, and we talked Houston Texans. So Brandon Combs, going to kick it to you first. Would you rather be a quarterback in Houston or Philly?
Jesus. Can I choose death?
No, Houston or Philly. You got to choose one.
I would go to Philly. Look, Houston's just... God, the ownership in Houston is just god awful. At least the ownership in Philly tries to win. They just don't pick good players. So I would rather go to Philly and be a quarterback there. If you go to Houston, you are, I mean, look, whoever gets traded for Deshaun Watson needs to check who the team they were with, because they did not like them very much. Because that is a death sentence to go to Houston right now. And so I'm all over. Give me Philly every day of the week.
All right, Torrey Anderson.
I'm going the other way because I actually just handed in my retirement paperwork from the league and I just retired, so I don't have to go anywhere. But I would honestly, I'd rather stay in Houston at that point, just because you have better, more proven receivers. You have a better offensive line. Your defense is not going to be good, but you're not going to the Super Bowl anyways. So in either place, hell, you're not even going to the playoffs in either place. So playoffs. So give me Houston. At least I'm not going to be dead on the, every time I drop back to pass, because they have a semblance of an offensive line there. So I'll take that. I'll take not
tell that to Deshaun Watson.
He's had not getting career ending
for the last 3 seasons.
I'll take a non-career ending injury for 300, Alex.
So Combs, you're picking Philly, and Torrey, who were you saying again? You're kind of waffling around that.
Houston. I said Houston.
You're taking Houston as well. I'm going to pick Houston as well, because I don't want to play the Super Bowl champions of the Dallas Cowboys twice a year. I mean, come on, like at least Houston, you just got to you just get to play.
Didn't you pick the Giants to win that division?
I did not. I picked the Cowboys to win the division. The Giants, okay. The Giants will be a sleeper in that division, but I mean, now that Daniel Jones is not looking for very good, I'm gonna have to renege on that one. But if you look at the AFC South, you're going to be playing a bust of a quarterback in Trevor Lawrence twice. You're going to be playing a overhyped running back in Derrick Henry twice, and you are going to play a Indianapolis Colts team that they don't play very good in Houston. So right there off the bat, there's 5 wins that I could get, not counting the rest of the easy of the schedule that they do have. So give me Houston 100% of the time. So before we get too further into the next one, Joey just donated 99 cents on the super chat. So Joey, huge shout out to you guys for giving us 99 cents. All tips and super chats are very, very well welcomed here. So guys,
small fries tomorrow for lunch, baby.
Hell yeah. Thank you for that, Joe. We very much
split
appreciate
4 ways, buddy.
3 ways.
We can.
Why it's been cut. Why it's out of here. No, I'm kidding.
He's a broke college. Of all of us, the broke college kids that needs it most, I'd be like, I got 25 cents.
I can get a pack of ramen.
That's like 4 bags of ramen.
All righty here. So guys, the next Would You Rather, we're going to switch over to Major League Baseball. I was watching the Royals game today, and the right fielder had the ball in his glove, ran into the wall, and jarred it loose. So would you rather have a ball get jarred off by the wall if you catch it on a pop fly, or would you just rather just flat out miss a pop fly, like you're standing there and the ball just goes like over your head? Combs, you first.
One more time. Give me that one more time.
So
a graphic came up on screen right now showing Mac Jones and Cam Newton's numbers. And
so
disturbing.
Would you rather be camped under a pop fly and you flat out miss the ball, or do you want to be chasing down a fly ball, it hits you in the glove, and it gets jarred loose by the wall?
Oof. I mean, I'm just gonna drop the fly ball. I mean, yeah, it's embarrassing, but at least my head's still attached. I mean, what stadium am I in? Am I at Wrigley?
Well, what wall
'Cause
do you
if
want to
I'm
run
at-
into? Do you want to run into an ivy, or do you want to run into a padded wall?
If I go into any of those other stadiums, it's a padded wall. So I might actually take that because at least then I have an excuse of why I dropped the ball.
Right.
But if it's at Wrigley, I mean, that's brick behind the ivy, and it's not very forgiving. So I would rather camp under a fly ball in Wrigley, run into a wall anywhere else.
Tori.
I'd rather hit the wall and drop the ball out. I want it, but if I'm doing it, I got specifications like Brandon. I'm Brian McRae in that thing. I'm going right through that wall. Bam! Like me
You're not gonna
versus
Jose
wall.
Canseco it.
I'm not going to Canseco it, let it bounce off my head and over the wall. Nope, I'm going through the wall. I am just going to hit that thing so hard. That is still. He actually made that catch though, where I would be okay because I'd probably be on the IL for about the next 60 days after that one.
Minimum 60 days. All right. As my chair is breaking, guys, so if I randomly fall, I have a big old split in my chair.
Is it still splitting?
Well, it is completely broke, but I haven't got my chair yet. So I was like, well, I can like I got one of those little clamps, you know, you like squeeze it and like it clamps.
Really?
If all of a sudden we hear like a loud ooh, we'll know that the chair broke and the rod from the seat
she gone
straight up.
Be sure to edit that out. No, I'm totally
And
kidding.
Buck is a popsicle.
if Buck goes from talking like this to hey guys,
Call
All
him
right.
the Buxicle.
So the next Would You Rather, guys, by now, hopefully you guys have all seen the video of Trent Dilfer. He is a high school coach. I don't know where it's at, but he grabbed his player by the shoulder pads, was chewing him up and down, and told him to sit his butt down because the player decided to talk back to him during a game. So, guys, I'm going to ask you this. Would you rather get chewed out by Trent Dilfer at a football game and in front of all your fans, or take the belt from your dad? Tori.
Ooh.
I'm gonna get chewed out by Trent Dilfer because, as much as you hate to say it, he's still a Super Bowl winning quarterback. The guy knew how to win. He knew how to manage a game. If I'm getting my butt chewed by him, it's probably because I deserved it at that point. I mean, I took the belt a couple of times when I didn't deserve it. So, and it wasn't even me that did it. So give me the butt chewing by Trent Dilfer any single day of the week because the guy probably has a semblance of what he knows, or semblance of knowing what he's talking about.
You would hope so.
I would think.
Combs.
Yeah. So, like my boy Tori, I took the belt a couple times in my day, and I know what that feels like. I'd rather take the ass chewing from Trent Dilfer because Trent Dilfer is a quarterback who played in the NFL, and regardless if his defense won him that Super Bowl or not, regardless if he's the worst quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl,
Doug Williams.
he's still closer to Patty Mahomes than I'll ever be. So that's a guy who I'll take an ass chewing from because he played in the NFL. I mean, I probably would because I talk back. I don't really, let people degrade me. So I usually talk back. So I probably would say something like, hey, why are you talking to me if all you did was ride your coattails your entire NFL career to a Super Bowl?
Oh, you get cut instantly. That so like you two, I was not a model child myself. I took the belt more times than not. Wooden spoons, anything handy, fly swatter, etc. So I know if I'm getting chewed out by Trent Dilfer on the sideline, when I come home after the game, I'm getting chewed out twice as hard because my dad was a no-nonsense type of person. So give me Trent Dilfer chewing out every day of the week. I will run until I puke because I know when I get home, my dad's going to be right there in my ear, maybe even belt handy, and bada bing, bada boom. I'm sleeping on Trent Dilfer's couch because I ran away from home because my dad scared me like at that point. Alrighty, guys. Here, so the next Would You Rather here. Would you rather star in an action movie and get killed 5 seconds into the movie, or play in The Notebook? Tori.
Oh, What kind of crap is this? I've never seen The Notebook, so I don't even know what it's about.
It's a very sobby love story.
Yeah, okay, let me die. Just let me die. Just kill me immediately. I'd be okay with that.
Movie.
I don't know. I've never. Side note to that, I've never seen Titanic either. So
Yeah, you're not missing much.
No,
a
you're not
basically basically a
sinks at the
girl.
end, by the way.
Yeah, a girl hogs the board because she's cold and Jack freezes to death.
Yeah, and then she tells him that she'll never let go. And then as soon as the rescue boat comes, she lets him drown and she lets go and goes to get rescued.
Yep, she gone.
God.
So
Really
Combs, are you going to be a
pisses me off.
5-second action movie star and get killed, or play in The Notebook?
How much money does this action movie gross? Is this like a? Am I getting killed in like
Do I
a
get paid?
Jean-Claude Van Damme action movie that's like only on Netflix available,
Probably.
or is
I
this
mean-
like like? Am
Or-
I starring in Fast 9 or something?
am I? Yeah, I was gonna say, am I in it like Expendables 38 or whatever they're on now?
Either way, you're only getting paid to pay like $1,000 for your makeup and time.
God, I'd rather start in The Notebook. Look, The Notebook was a good movie. You guys say what you want about your manhood and your man card. Oh, you watched The Notebook. Yes, I watched The Notebook. It was a
We're called
really
the-
good
we're-
movie.
We're called the Man Hour for a reason. Jesus,
It was a really good movie. So I'm gonna star in The Notebook because you know what? Lots of women watch The Notebook, and you know what, Tori? You like lots of women.
That's it. Man card removed. Mute it.
But Tori, you like lots of women. Why would you not want to be star in a movie where lots of women are watching it? At least then they'll know your name when they're done.
That is very, very true.
At least then they'll get to see you a second time when they rewatch the movie.
Which brings me to a story to tell while we're on break.
Speaking of break, we are heading into our next break. But before we get into that, Tori, tell the people about your fantasy show with Wyatt coming up here on Wednesday.
So if you want to win your fantasy league, you listen to me and Wyatt. And I say me and Wyatt because if you just listen to Wyatt, then you finish second place because that's where he finishes. I usually finish in first place. That's where we go. Together, we will almost, not for sure, guarantee that you will go into the playoffs and win your league. You know why? Because we're the best there is, the best there was. And you already got some free fantasy advice when we were talking about the Ravens today. So if you tune in every single week when Wyatt and I do it, you'll get who to start, who to bench, who to cut, who to pick up. That's all the stuff that we are going to do for you when you tune in to our little segment.
Did you just waffle on your own fantasy knowledge? Because first
No.
you're like, if you want to win, and then you're like, well, we'll almost guarantee it. We can't like fully go. But you just said if I wanted to win.
Legal. If you make the playoffs, you probably had a winning record, so you're winning. And for legal reasons, we got to say just the vote. I can't, because otherwise you could get sued. It's liable,
Javier
man.
says it's a damn shame that Justin Fields is not starting.
No, it's not.
Week 4.
All right, guys, we'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeye along with Tori Anderson and Brandon BC Combs. You can find us all on Twitter at manhour_buck, manhour_Tori, and of course, manhour_Combs. Guys, we have talked some NFL. We've dove deep into the NFL talk here, but now it's time to dabble our toe here in the old Major League Baseball scene here. The New York Yankees have, they won 13 games in a row. That was the first time in 65 years or something like that they've won over 10 games in a row. But last night their streak was snapped by the Oakland A's. But Combs, I want to kick it to you first right now. Are the New York Yankees the most dangerous team in the Major League Baseball right now?
No. And one reason why they're not the most dangerous team is their pitching. They don't have enough pitching to play in October. They just don't. They are a very good offense, but in October, pitching plays. And the teams that they're going to run up against are teams that can absolutely shut them down. So, when it comes to most dangerous teams in baseball, the Oakland A's come to mind before the New York Yankees. The Chicago White Sox come to mind before the New York Yankees. The Atlanta Braves, the San Francisco Giants, and the Los Angeles Dodgers all come to mind before the New York Yankees do. And I know I left a team out there that Tori is mad that I left them out, but they don't scare me more than the Yankees. I would take the Yankees over them. There's a couple teams I would take the Yankees over. They're probably the best team in their division. The Yankees are, but they don't have enough pitching to play in October. So no, I do not think that they are the most dangerous team in baseball.
All right, Tori, you were shaking your head in agreement and disagreement there. What do you agree and disagree with Mr. Brandon Combs' statements there?
100%. Like the pitching comes into play. Pitching is absolutely everything come October. If you don't have pitching, you're not going to be around long. I don't care if you can launch, the ball 700 times in a year. Come October, none of that matters. If you can't put the bat on the ball, they have a lot of guys that hit for power, but nobody that really hits for average really well. Yeah, okay, you had 4 guys hit 40 bombs. They hit 215. Come October, that's not going to do it. You can live and die by the bomb, because if it's a solo shot, because nobody else that can get on base or is on base, it doesn't matter. One run, that's nothing. But you get into a tight ball game where it's 1-2-0 and their pitching's rolling, you're screwed. Like the White Sox right now, top to bottom, the White Sox are, as far as pitching stats from starters and bullpen to closers, there ain't nobody touching them. Nobody.
Yeah. And they did win 17-0 today over Brandon Combs' Chicago Cubs there. So, Combs, do you see the New York Yankees as a first-round loss tonight? Or not tonight, but this year in the playoffs?
I don't know. I have to see the way that the bracket lines up. I do think that there's a couple teams in the American League that they could beat in a short series. In a long series is where they're really in trouble. But in a short series, they do have an opportunity. They could beat the Rays in a short series. They can absolutely beat the Astros in a short series, because I think that the Astros and the Yankees are probably mirror images of one another. Not a whole lot of pitching, but a whole lot of offense. So there are a couple teams out there that I think they could beat and maybe make it to the ALCS. But once they go up against the Chicago White Sox would absolutely, I think the White Sox would sweep the New York Yankees, to be honest with you. I think that the Oakland A's would beat the Yankees in a short series even. I really do. I think Oakland, Oakland is just that. Oakland always seems to just be that team, but they're scrappy enough they could beat the Yankees. So it just depends on the way that the bracket shakes out. Can the A's overtake the Astros and get, win their division, and that way they don't have to face the Yankees in the first round, or are they the wild card? Because in a one-game wild card, I'd taken the A's 100 times out of 100 over the New York Yankees.
Tori, same question to you. How far do you think the Yankees can go in the playoffs?
I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs.
Ooh.
I'll be honest. I think they may fall out of it.
Wow.
They have been so up and down this year that they may fall out of it.
Wow.
So
they're
so
2.5 up on the Red Sox and 3 up on the A's in the wild card, 4.5 up on the Mariners, and 5.5 up on the Blue Jays. You think two of those teams are going to overtake them?
I mean, the two best shots are right there, right in their division, obviously, between the Rays and the Red Sox. Red Sox have kind of fallen back to earth. And I think the Red Sox, if the Red Sox continue to free fall and be the team that we all thought they were going to be this year, then the Yankees make it. But if the Red Sox find their form that they had for most of the year, I think they can overtake the Yankees. The Yankees are streaky.
Yeah.
So it's 100%. Like, they won 15 in a row. They could go out and lose 7 or 8 in a row. And now we're talking about, are the Yankees even going to make the playoffs? And that's where I'm at with them, because they're unpredictable. I don't think the Yankees team we're seeing now is the Yankee team that's the true Yankee team.
I think that would be, do they blow it up? If they, I mean, look, Yankee fans are as loyal and as brutal as they come. Like, I've been close to Yankee fan. I know how much they love their Yankees. If they blow this lead, they're going to be calling for Brian Cashman's head. They're going to be calling for to blow this thing up, because Cashman, Cashman just bargain shops for pitching. And so if they lose this lead, man, I'm going to be listening to New York sports radio for about a week after if they blow it, just because it's going to be funny to listen to.
But let's break it down. How many games in a row did they win, Buck? 15?
13 games in a row.
13? And they have a 2.5 and a 3.5 game lead. How far down were they prior to that? They made up some serious ground with that. There again, like I said, they're streaky. Give me the complete meal versus a small sample.
Yeah,
I will take that. I will 10, take the win.
I mean, the Red Sox are 6-4 in the last 10. The A's are 3-7 in the last 10. The other two teams in contention are both 5-5 in the last 10, while the Yankees are 9-1. So yeah, they made up a ton of ground. They made up at least 5 games in that stretch. So you're right. If they blow this lead, God, New York radio is gonna be fun.
So we have a couple. Sorry, Tori, you got a
No
statement. Okay, yeah. So before we head into the next to the next topic here, Javier says, how can a baseball team lose 19 games in a row? Combs, you have been on the side of this 19 losing game streak before. How can a team lose 19 games? How can a team lose 19 games in a row?
You trade all of your players, and you play with your AA squad. Cubs haven't lost 19 in a row. I mean, they've lost 11 and then 13, I believe. But yeah, it's thanks for bringing that up, Buck. Now I'm.
It was a Javier's question there, so I just wanted to ask. So we need to support our fans over there. Javier also thinks he also thinks the Dodgers had the best pitching rotation in the whole major leagues, and they like you said, pitching wins games. So
and the thing is you got to remember, in the playoffs you go down to basically a 3-man staff.
their 3-man staff is Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, and Max Scherzer.
So you're bumping out, and you're bumping out Urias, and you're bumping out. I'm blanking on the other guy.
You're talking about the redhead. I can't think of his name either. But yeah, I know who you're talking. The redheaded guy that they have there. But I mean, look, when you've got Buehler, Kershaw, and Scherzer, who cares who's pitching the game for? You got a 3-0 lead. It's just one of those. What's really disappointing? It's the San Diego Padres. They made no moves for pitching at the trade deadline. They didn't try to bolster that staff, which was a decent staff.
No, they tried. They got outbid. They were that close to adding Max Scherzer, and the Dodgers said, "I'll hold my beer."
The Dodgers said, "Yeah, watch this. We're gonna get Max Scherzer and Trey Turner."
Yeah, that's ridiculous. They tried. I mean, they ended up with Jake Arrieta got cut. We'll take him.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of being that close, Jameis Winston has been that close to being a successful quarterback in the NFL. One time, maybe 2 times in the last over his career, but he has officially been named starter for the New Orleans Saints in Week 1. So, guys, I think we have big expectations for the New Orleans Saints this season. So, Torrey Anderson, Mr. Brandon B.C. Combs has said many times that Jameis Winston is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, and now he gets his opportunity to showcase this, and I believe you guys have a friendly little bet happening as well. So how good can the Saints be with Jameis Winston at the helm?
Don't embarrass yourself, Torrey.
About as good as the Buccaneers were when he threw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. He is not a good quarterback. He makes terrible decisions. So the picture I'd sent to our group earlier, Aaron Rodgers has 89 interceptions in his career with over 6,000 attempts. Jameis Winston has 88 with just over 2,000 attempts.
Yep.
So Torrey, let me ask you a question. Everybody always wants to go to the interceptions with Jameis. Oh, but he threw for 30 interceptions. You don't want. Let me. A serious question. Just answer yes or no. Do you or do you not want a quarterback who throws for 18 interceptions a season?
No.
So then you don't want Brett Favre because Jameis Winston has only thrown for 16 interceptions a season, but Brett Favre averaged 18.
But Brett Favre would throw 40 yards.
But but Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 yards and 33 touchdowns. He's one of only 8 quarterbacks in the history of the NFL to throw for 5,000 yards.
That's not over a career. He got cut from his team because he was terrible. Brett Favre didn't get cut
because he got Tom Brady.
No.
It wasn't because he was horrible. That play calling was horrible. They lost eight games that last year that he was in Tampa Bay. 2 of them were in overtime, and 3 of them were fourth quarter blown leads. That's 5 losses out of the 8 that were not on him.
But what do they say wins championships?
Defense wins championships, my good
And
sir.
And when you throw the ball to that defense, you have now ruined your chance to score. That is 30 opportunities that he gave the opposite team to score.
Because he was trying to make plays in the fourth quarter because his defense couldn't hold the lead. Because he's trying to make plays in the fourth quarter when his defense can't hold the lead.
That's a false statement.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? His defense blew 3 fourth quarter leads out of their 8 losses. 3 of them, and he had them in fourth quarter. They averaged 27.8 points per game that year under Jameis Winston, and they were 8-8. If you average 27.8 points a game in the NFL and you're losing, that's your defense's fault, not yours.
Okay, so let's say it was the defense's fault. Are the Saints defense that good, Combs?
The Saints defense is that good. The Saints defense is pretty damn good. And the Saints offensive line is pretty damn good. The Saints receivers are pretty damn good. The Saints running game is pretty damn good. The Saints are going to be a good team. And Jameis Winston, and you're hearing it right here first on the Man Hour. Jameis Winston is going to be in talks for MVP this season.
MVP Jameis Winston.
He's going to be in the talks. I don't know if he's going to win it.
Words that nobody else has ever uttered.
He's gonna. I can't wait for this season to happen.
The only MVP talks that he will be on is here on the Man Hour, just because you're trying to slide him in the only thing that stops him running.
The only thing that stops him is injury. That's the only thing that stops Jameis Winston.
So
from getting benched.
Mark my words.
Okay.
You say it all. Yo, for who? For Taysom Hill. Come on. For a glorified tight end with an arm. Come, stop it.
I would probably take my chances with Taysom Hill as my quarterback over Jameis Winston because he's not going to turn the ball over 3 times
because
a game.
Everybody sits there and they're, he threw for 30 interceptions. He threw for this. He threw for that.
Turnover machine. You can't win ball games when you give the ball away 3 times a game. You can't.
Brett Favre did it his entire career.
And
Brett Favre would come out.
Did he win though?
Come on.
He won
Brett
one
Favre
Super
would come
Bowl.
back and rifle four touchdowns after that.
Jameis Winston. What are you talking about? 5,000 yards and 33 touchdowns. You can't say that he can't throw for touchdowns. How many times did Brett Favre throw for 5,000 yards in his career? None.
What was his completion percentage?
0. How many
This
times
is
did
a
he throw for
terrible
33
argument.
touchdowns?
Like,
No,
you-
it's not.
Yes, it is.
How is it? It's only a
It
terrible
won-
argument because people
one, it's a
want to
complete-
talk
it was a
about
co-
his
no, it
last
was a
season because
completely
he was
different
8-8. If they say they don't lose those 2 overtime games, they win them, and they're 10-6 that year, and they're in the playoffs.
Is Jameis Winston going into the Hall of Fame?
Stop it! Come on now.
No, you want to do comparisons. Let's compare.
Sure.
Is Jameis Winston a Hall of Fame quarterback?
You give
See,
me
you're on crack. No, you're not.
because
He
you're
is
giving me.
not.
I wouldn't put any quarterback for 4. I don't want to even put Patty Mahomes in the Hall of Fame right now because he's only been in the league for 4 years. I'm not putting anybody in the league after 4 years.
But you're trying to compare an era where nobody threw for 5,000 yards.
No,
if you threw for 4,000 yards. It was amazing.
Somebody who's throwing a lot of interceptions. He's doing the same thing Brett Favre did, and Brett Favre had a Hall of Fame career, but people want to cut him off because
Brett Favre
Jameis
never
Winston,
threw
and he's
30
a
interceptions
moron.
in a season.
No, okay. Stop. He never threw 30 interceptions in a season. He threw 25 plus 3 times in his career. One of them was 29. So he didn't throw that extra one, probably because he sat out week 17.
That just sounds like a salty Bear fan.
Yeah.
It's not a salty Bear fan. It's honesty. It's not my fault that you can't see it. I can't wait till you have to do this last dab challenge.
Brett Favre threw for over 500, or for, was it 500 touchdowns? 400 touchdowns?
Yeah. So
he also threw 300 interceptions or whatever too. I give him that.
Combs, yes or no answer here. Is 29 greater than 30?
29 greater than 30? No.
Okay. So therefore 29 is less than 30. So therefore Brett Favre's better than Jameis Winston. But with that being said, let's go ahead and look at
Jameis Winston's been in the league for 4 years. Right,
and thrown 88 interceptions,
and he's thrown for 120 and 121 touchdowns
in a pass-happy league.
That's 30 touchdowns a year.
That's not even a 2-to-1
a year.
That's not even a 2-to-1 ratio.
30 touchdowns a year. He had one season where he threw for 30. He's got 88. So all right. So let's take that one season away. So take 30 minus 30.
Okay, so then take 30 touchdowns. Now take 30 touchdowns
away. That's what
away.
I'm saying. I just said that. Take 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions away, right? So now he's got 91 touchdowns and he's got 50 interceptions.
Which is still not 2-to-1. That's still a terrible percentage.
And he didn't start his 4th year in the league.
Awful.
Just throwing it out there. He played 0 games last year.
I'm telling you right now, what did we see the first half of last season in Tampa Bay? Until Tom Brady said, you know what? Give me the play calling. Let me take care of it. The play calling was awful.
We saw a 5-3 team.
Correct.
I agree.
The play calling was awful. The quarterback. The only difference between Tom Brady and Jameis Winston on that Bucs team is that Tom Brady brought all of his friends with him and had a lot more weapons than what Jameis Winston had to work with. The play calling was horrible, and Tom Brady took over the play calling, and that's when they took off. They weren't going to give that to Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston hadn't earned that yet.
So what you're saying is when Tom Brady brought all of his friends, Jameis Winston had a bad team, right?
They did not have a great team in Tampa Bay. When your defense is giving up 30-plus points a game, you don't have a good team.
But they won the Super Bowl the year after that.
Yes, because Tom Brady came into town, Tom Brady took over, and carried them to a Super Bowl.
Thank you for just making my point about Jameis not being a good quarterback.
No, he's not Tom Brady. He's not the greatest of all time. But he is a top 10 quarterback in this league right now.
Javier says, stop drinking, Combs. Jameis sucks.
Okay. We're going to see.
Best comment.
And then Javier also comes out
and everybody's like, wow, Combs is right. Jameis Winston actually is pretty damn good.
And then the next comment here, Javier says, he had his best game ever in the preseason. LOL. And then he also comes back and says that he is a turnover mechanic. So definitely,
he's also a touchdown mechanic too.
So,
was the only quarterback in the league 2 years ago to throw for 5,000 yards and 30-plus touchdowns. He's also only one of 8 in NFL history, one of 8 to throw for 5,000 yards. But yeah, I mean,
he is the only quarterback ever to throw over 30 touchdowns, right? Or 30 interceptions.
I don't know. Yeah, Jay Cutler's probably been up there a couple times.
I don't think Jay ever got that close.
So, and then
I mean-
Drew comes out and says Brady did it 3 times last year, or he did it 3 or 4 times last season, meaning that he threw for 3+ interceptions in
Well,
in
yeah,
one
but
game.
Tom Brady's like
NFC title
undefeated
game.
when he throws for 3+ interceptions
Right.
in the playoffs. So
It's
there's a big
ridiculous.
difference there.
Hey, let's kick a field goal, 4th and 1.
Yeah.
And then one more comment here. Javier says, "Hey, Jake Paul will win tonight with a knockout, and I got money on it."
Who the
LOL.
hell's Jake Paul fighting tonight?
I didn't even know they were boxing. Why are they boxing on a Monday, or is it Sunday? It's Sunday night.
Who the
Sunday night.
hell's Jake Paul fighting?
I don't know. He was the last I knew he was fighting that MMA fighter, but I don't even remember his name.
Isn't he going? Wait, no. Isn't
I
he
thought
going
was
up
he
against,
like I thought he was
thought
gonna
it was-
fight like Roy Jones Jr. or Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd
or
Mayweather.
somebody.
I thought. Yeah, isn't
That's
is
tonight?
that
No,
tonight, Floyd Mayweather?
No, he already
No,
fought
I think
for
they fought that, and
Yeah.
Mayweather wiped the floor with them.
Wow.
Oh, really?
Allegedly.
Oh, I don't know.
Allegedly. All right. Anyways, moving on here. So, guys, NFL preseason is officially over. Final cuts are next Saturday. Tori Anderson, what is the biggest thing that we have learned from this year's preseason?
What is the biggest thing we've learned from the preseason this year? Is that every year it gets more boring and vanilla because nobody wants to show anything at all. The one thing I think that I like, and it's the trend right now, is your starters just don't play in the preseason. They are literally letting the guys that are battling for roster spots battle it out. Like, I really like that. It is one of the things I've always really liked about the preseason, but it's become more prevalent where, it would always just be like, oh, your starters don't really play the first 2 games. The third game, it was usually, they played the first half, and the fourth game, well, then they would, play again, like a series or 2 and then be out. You don't want to get them hurt. I like it because you are giving those backups every opportunity, because for some of these guys, it's their only shot at the NFL. And they are now getting that chance to be showcased to continue chasing their dream. And I really like that, because I think the product gets better in the preseason when you let them guys play, because they are playing with their heart, their soul, and leaving everything on the field at that point. So I think we're starting to learn that the NFL has found that they can get a better product by letting backups play on the field.
Brandon BC Combs, what have we learned from this year's preseason?
It's that we've got some really good quarterback play coming into this league. Between especially here in the NFC North, between Justin Fields, Jordan Love hasn't looked great just yet, but I think that being underneath Aaron Rodgers is going to help him out a lot. Then you've got Trey Lance looking really good. Zach Wilson's looking really good. I was watching a little bit of Trevor Lawrence play with Jacksonville today.
He looked good today.
He looked good today. So, there's some really good quarterback play coming into this league. I've also think that what we've learned, in this league is,
I'm like
Buck with the chair. I don't know. Did he make a buxicle yet or what?
I think so, because he was grabbing.
What is he sitting on? Look at that.
It's a wooden chair. He's got a wooden chair, like a kitchen table chair, like
It
an
looks
old
a
one.
kid's
And
high chair.
and it's, I mean, maybe it is.
Oh, he's sitting on.
Did he steal one from River?
I don't know, man. I'd be uncomfortable too if I'm sitting on the tray of a high chair. But anyway, no. There's a lot of things in this league that are going to happen this year. I think one of the things that we've really learned, I think that Mac Jones is going to be better than a lot of people thought. I think that Mac Jones is going to start week 1 for the New England Patriots. He looked really good tonight, while Cam Newton looked really bad. So I think that Mac Jones, I think that Mac Jones is going to have a really good career, and I think the New England Patriots are going to be a much better team than anybody thought that they're going to be, including myself.
Buck, what are your thoughts?
I missed that part of the conversation. My bad, boys.
That's you, Buck.
Yeah,
Were you
I
sitting
think
on
Cam
a high
Newton.
chair, by the way?
What's that?
It looked like you were sitting on like an old school high chair.
No, so this is a chair that officially broke.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's
It looks like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Hey, careful, man.
Don't you know what Gorilla Glue is, Buck? Jesus.
So I actually had to sit up and walk away because my testicles got pinched there, so I had to go walk it off.
Fuck, you're not supposed to snip yourself.
Pac-Man ate the dots.
Yeah, he got his cherry, that's for sure, man. It was.
So tell me, how'd you get the berries above the twig?
Sorry, guys. We are up against the next break. We are going to end the show with Shop Talk, and the phone lines will be open if you feel like calling in. So Javier, there's some comments that we're going to address there. Drew, if you got any questions for us as well, or if anybody listening has a question for us, let us know here in the comments and we will get to them during Shop Talk here, guys. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour. And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckeiser here with Brandon Combs and the Tori Anderson tonight. If you guys have missed any part of the show whatsoever, simply head over to youtube.com/Man Hour as we upload clips each and every day over there. We're at 8 p.m., 11 p.m., 2 p.m., and 5 p.m. every Sunday through Thursday. And on Friday and Saturdays, we have the 8 p.m. hour. We are still giving away the Vegas trip. To simply get entered into the Vegas trip, you just have to go to Man Hour, youtube.com/Man Hour, and hit that join button, be a $5.99 member or more. You also get weekly prizes here. So if you're a top point getter like Drew was 2 weeks ago, we will be sending him out a gift. We got keychains, we got cups, we got t-shirts, and we got hoodies as well. So guys, simply head over to youtube.com/Man Hour, click on the join button for $5.99 and get a chance to go to Vegas with the Man Hour crew, Mr. Combs and Tori themselves. Tori, are you looking to go to Vegas? Are you excited about it?
Yeah. Who isn't excited to go to Vegas?
I mean, it's
like
hot.
it's like
it's
I
dry.
said, it's I like to gamble. Obviously, I make side bets with everybody on anything. Like pretty soon BC's gonna come here. It's gonna be like, BC, who do you think's across the street first? Who you got?
I just saw a graphic come up on the screen. I'm watching the Yankees and the A's in the background. Did you know that if a player stole 36 bases for the next 20 years straight, they still would have less stolen bases than Ricky Henderson?
Yeah, it's a lost art.
That
Stolen
is
bases.
ridiculous.
Well, the man stole over 100 bases, like a couple of times.
Yeah, that is wow.
Well,
That
I
is a
don't know
crazy
why.
stat.
I don't know. That's one complaint, and like we've talked about it before, where the power game becomes everything,
Yeah,
and so nobody steals bases anymore. It's a lost art.
it is.
Like to get him on,
And
get
that's
him
why I
over,
like
get him
watching the
in.
Little League World Series, man, because
Yes.
that brings a lot of that back. The Little League World Series was so much fun to watch. You see that kid from Michigan? His last 4 games that he's pitched, he's given up 1 hit in those 4 games. He's pitched 3 no-hitters. he's he like it's something ridiculous where he's thrown I think it's 575 pitches, and he's had over 184 strikeouts in those 4 games. Something ridiculous. Like,
That's
it's
crazy.
absolutely insane. And Michigan won the title today. That was pretty cool to see. It's different not seeing any international teams in the Little League World Series, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoyed watching the Little League World Series all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Little League World Series probably outperforms Major League Baseball during these last 2 weeks. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, because it's must-see TV. Honestly,
Yeah, and the kids, I mean, look, they just love playing the game. They love going out there. It's always like, I don't know, when the kids start crying after they lose, you kind of feel bad, but then you kind of start laughing at them. So,
Yeah.
and then Brandon goes and kicks puppies.
yeah, it's just one of those things. And then you've always got those kids that you root for, and then my favorite one is watching like their little things come up, and it'll tell them like who's their favorite athlete or whatnot. Did you see the one kid who said has a crush on his science teacher? It said "Sup, Mrs. Henderson" underneath his name. That is a savage move.
Who was the kid? Was it a couple years ago? He's like, I'm here to hit dingers or something like that.
Yeah.
Big Al.
That was a good
Big
one.
Al.
Yeah.
Hi, my
Yeah,
name's
I'm
Big
here.
Al.
I'm here to hit
I'm here
dingers.
to hit dingers.
So Combs, let me ask you this, because like you bring up the word crying, like if you lost a game, were you a crier?
No, I was angry. I was the one that you don't want to talk to after a loss.
Yeah.
For a couple hours. Even in men's softball, like I'm just like.
So that's pretty often for
Yeah.
you, isn't it?
Recently it has been. Yeah, I've played on some pretty bad teams recently, but I've also played for some really good teams as well. So, but no, I just don't like to lose at anything. Like I don't even let my kids win when we play shoots and ladders or sorry.
Yeesh.
I don't like to lose. When we play, I'll play basketball with my little guys. They're 5 and 4, out there shooting hoops. I'd let them get up there, and then if they were about to win or something, I'd block every shot they had. They had no shot. They had no chance.
Tori, are you a crier?
See now, but what are we talking about? Are you just talking about a regular game? Because like something that's a big stage. You played a lot of baseball, and you played some really good ball to get to that stage.
Right.
On that stage, yeah, it can be emotional like that because like that's really good exposure for them. And I think that's a natural human reaction when you get to that stage. Not like if I'm playing just our regular league games. No, I'm like BC. I'm mad because I'm like I should have did this. I should have did that. Why didn't things go this way? Like I will overanalyze my own game, but like that where you're on a big stage like that, you are playing for the Little League World Series. Like you played a lot of baseball, you made it that far. Yeah, that's something pretty powerful. That's a lot to ask of some of these younger kids.
Right.
So
And even as a fan, like I think I tend to cry more when my teams win a big game than I do if they lose a big game. You know what I mean? Like the Cubs in 2016. Like I cried when they won the World Series. But 2003 when they blew that lead to the Marlins, like I was pissed. Like it was like I wasn't crying, I wasn't upset. There were a lot of fans that were crying, but I was just mad because you're just like what the hell? But even like with games that I'm playing, if I'm playing, whether it's hockey, whether it's softball, Like we get to the championship game and we lose, I'm mad. But if we get to the championship game and we win, I might shed a tear or two.
Yeah. Well, just
Yeah, I
so
don't-
so we lost a football game on Friday night by a last second field goal, and I had a kid that was like breaking down, bawling, crying. Dude, it's a week 2 game. Like, relax. Like, we have 10 more of these to go. Like,
Was it did he have a play that cost you guys some points or something? Or
No, he just
he's like, no, it was the water boy.
No,
It was our long snapper.
No, it's just like we just got because we were playing a
was
6A
the head
school
coach.
versus a 4A school, so like we just got plain tired. That's why that's why we lost. So Drew comes out and like asks is Wander Franco is killing it lately. You guys think he's going to continue and do that through the playoffs?
I don't know. That's a tough one because again, good pitching plays in October. Now that being said, like Wander Franco is one of my favorite players in the game to watch right now. Him and Tim Anderson, I think, are my 2 favorite players to watch in the game right now because they're always hitting the ball. They're always coming up with big hits. They're always, having some sort of influence on the game that their teams are playing. So I would say yes, he could. But it's so hard in October. I mean, so hard in October. Who was the Tampa Bay player last year who had his coming out party in the playoffs? It was just freaking red hot. He was their other outfielder. Wow, what was his name? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I can think of William Blake Snell.
No, his outfielder.
He was an outfielder. I mean, he was just hitting. I think he hit like 400 in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think because he was like over 500 for quite a while because he was just killing it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the trying to find the
now I gotta look it up
right now because that'll bug me until I.
While you guys are looking that up, we have a new person jumping in the chat. Gunner Poor, what's up, big man?
Arozarena.
So, who was
it? Randy Arozarena.
Arozarena. So,
hey, Arozarena.
Gunner Poor is in the chat. What's up, big man? Hey, just FYI, you cannot bet 50 points until you have 50 points. It resets every Sunday. So make sure if you guys are curious of how many points you have, put exclamation point points in the comments and let you know exactly how many comments or how many points you have. Javier says, I cry in high school playing basketball and football. Yeah, it's my family. I mean, my last high school game, I was like upset, but I think I shedded a tear more because other people were shedding tears.
I shed like I am. I'm an emotional person, so like I will but it's usually more for accomplishment stuff. Like when I graduated boot camp, Marine Corps boot camp, I cried. Because you make it through something that a lot of people don't. Right. And so there are things that I will, last game of your senior year of high school. Yeah, I mean that's an emotional time too, especially if you're, on a good team.
Or just a good player in general, or like played a lot, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Or you got kicked off the team before the first game of the year.
Tory.
Of your senior year.
Was that you?
There's a story behind that.
There was, yeah, but I think I have a good story.
We need to talk about that on the after show.
Yeah. Actually, I don't have the after show set up. So Combs, can you set up the after show for us on StreamYard while we head out?
How the hell do I do that?
Never mind. I'll take care of it for you.
What the hell am I supposed to do?
I thought we just stayed in the stream that we're on now.
Oh, we do, yeah. But
okay.
But I gotta set other stuff up. But keep talking while I set it up for me, please.
All right, yeah, let's do that. So, Tori, by the way, Jameis Winston still top 10 quarterback in the league. Hasn't changed.
In interceptions, yes, you are correct. I will agree.
No, just overall in the league.
No.
How about this?
No.
If Jameis Winston finishes, we're gonna make a bet. If Jameis Winston finishes as a top 10 quarterback in this league, stats wise, There's got to be something there. There's got to be a huge punishment for you if that happens.
Well, we already got the last dab on there.
I no, but that's on their record. That's not if just Jameis Winston is a top 10 quarterback. Like, I want the last dab plus something else. There's got to be something to that. And by the way, there's also another thing I want to talk to you guys about, and that is a week to week pick'em thing where we have a wheel of death.
I like that. Ooh, I like it.
We need to create a wheel of death with a bunch of punishments, and the worst person on the of the week with the least amount of wins on their picks needs to spin the wheel.
Yes.
I like that idea.
Okay. So is that a school project for Wyatt, or who's going to make the wheel of death?
Oh, we can put out all
actually,
think of the punishments, because there's a website where we can do a random wheel spin.
I can actually do it here on the stream now
and
too.
You can put it on the stream. Yeah.
Exactly. So during the after show, let's make up some punishments that don't have shaved heads, because Wyatt won't do that. All right, guys. So that is going to be it for tonight here on the Man Hour, guys. If you guys haven't done so, go ahead and like and share this feed. Get people out. If you miss any part of the show, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, and of course, Big X Sports Radio every Monday through Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Combs, give it to you guys. Spin it out, big guy.
Man Hour Nation, rise up.